With 13 Hong Kong jockeys titles and more than 1,800 winners to his name, Douglas Whyte can safely be called a legend of the riding ranks. Time now to switch codes as he takes up training in that most competitive of jurisdictions. Well, you can usually guarantee that if you run into Mike de Kock's stables, you'll bump into a South African riding star, and they don't get much better than Douglas Whyte. He's here on a reconnaissance mission. Tell us about it.
Well, I've just recently retired from the saddle, and I'm on a 3-month travelling trip, and Mike was kind enough in saying that I can come and join the yard and have a look around and pick his brains and hopefully learn something along the way.
You're going to start training for next season in Hong Kong?
Yeah, the season kicks off in September, so I can start getting my yard together around the beginning of July, and hence the reason I'm on a mission now, going around the world, making contacts, learning a bit, and obviously trying to get some contacts out there for the future.
And you're quite special in a way. You're only the second jockey to get the training licence after Tony Cruz in Hong Kong, is that right? Very
fortunate. Very grateful to the Hong Kong Jockey Club, but I've been there half my life, 22 years now, and I've made a lot of contacts and enjoy the place. It's home for me, and very fortunate for this next chapter of my life.
Looking back at your riding career, I mean, just amazing what you've achieved in Hong Kong, 18,000 winners and all the rest of it. Which ones really stand out for you?
It's been a question that's probably been asked more than any other question, and of those 1,800 winners, every winner's been special, but if I have to look back, London News kind of stands out. He was the first South African horse to travel outside of South Africa, and he was my first Group 1 winner in Hong Kong, and I think he got the ball rolling for me in Hong Kong. Once I won on him, they offered me a full-time job, and I've never left since. So, and any jockey will tell you a derby is special. I've had 3 of those, and winning 2 international races on a day. Those were probably the highlights of my long career in Hong Kong.
And you're very much loved over there. They gave you quite the send-off, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. It got quite emotional, but I held it together. But yeah, look, the club did a good show, and the jocks, it was surprisingly, well, I was surprised how they all got behind it, and they made it quite emotional. So it was a good send-off. It was tough to eventually acknowledge the fact that I won't be on a horse's back competitively. But look, I'm taking this new venture with both hands, and it's a challenge, and I love challenges. And I'm thoroughly looking forward to it.
Any concerns? As you say, it's very tough, isn't it, training in Hong Kong, even for someone who knows the place as well as you do?
I think it's tough training anywhere, but I think Hong Kong's unique, and I think there's no room for error. But that's been, whether you're a jockey or a trainer, there's a constant pressure of success, and behind that there's a monetary side of things where the betting is huge and the expectations are high, so you're always on edge. But I have been there a long time. I know the system, I know the tracks inside out, and I think that's going to stand me in good stead.
And where will you mainly be sourcing horses from?
Well, obviously PPs, which are private purchases, race horses, a lot of them come from the UK. They are getting quite pricey now. But I think a big percentage of Hong Kong horses are from Australia, the Southern Hemisphere, and so that's probably where I'll be heading, or be looking at.
I guess you'd probably like to take some South African bloodstock on board, but with the quarantine situation it'd be tricky.
Oh yeah, look, if the quarantine situation sorts itself out, and I think that, the class of horse has proven itself over the last couple of years that they're up to standard. And but at the moment, being a first season trainer, trying to source a horse out of South Africa, it just takes too much time, and I need to hit the ground running. So it's something that I'd probably and will look towards in the future.
And looking back at your career, we were just talking earlier, amazing you never managed to have a winner in Dubai.
No, that's probably one of the bigger letdowns. I've been over a few times, couple of places, and it's a great carnival, one that I'll miss dearly. but unfortunately never got the winning nod. A lot of other places, but not Dubai.
You did go close though, didn't you? Peniophobia would be one of the better ones.
Yeah, he was probably one of the better ones. He was just found one too good on the day, but he ran an honest race, and better horse beat him on the day.
What do you think are the sort of main aspects of your riding career that you'll take forward into training? Would it just be knowledge of horses, where to place them in a race?
I think any good trainer is a horseman, and you know you need to read your horses, and if you can read your horses and understand them and train them accordingly, especially a place like Hong Kong where, as I said earlier, the expectations are high and you don't fall into that category of wanting to overachieve or overtrain. I think that's the way I'll sort of lean towards. Let the horse do the talking and try and work around that.
Anyone you're particularly going to kind of look up to, model yourself on? There's a lot of good trainers in Hong Kong.
There's a hell of a lot of good trainers, and I'm going to probably have my own style of training and try and do a few things that I think will suit horses and my way of training. And so I've got some big shoes to fill, but as I said, there's a lot of good trainers, and I'm looking forward to the challenge.
And I guess you'll be legging up jockeys that you've ridden against for years as well.
Yeah, that's going to be the interesting thing. And again, the interesting thing, I think, being a trainer is putting yourself on that horse while you're standing on the ground, how you would ride it, and reading the race that you would want the jockey to ride. So yeah, there's a lot of advantages and disadvantages, but I'll work it out along the way.